Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Okay, no long intro today. I need to get right down to business. I'm still very excited about William's new project. For the first time, I feel a project is spot on target, and targeting the right people. It is truly to the betterment of a community and the country as a whole. Oh gosh, I wish I could share some of my ideas with the prince, but I doubt he would listen to little old me. So at this point, I wish him well, and I think it is also fantastic that in the process, artisans will receive training and jobs will be created. Absolutely darn marvelous. Not so fantastic as the news I received from Australia a while back, and which I have been chewing on for a while now. I know the moment I mention the king, many of you back off and experience negativity towards me and my channel. I get accused of the most ridiculous things, sometimes before people have even listened through to the end. Well, today there are two truths. I do not like Charles, okay? I do not like him as a prince, and so far do not like him as a king. And as person, I honestly can't say because I don't know him. But I have a feeling that I won't like him on a personal level either because I may not know him, but I definitely know myself. However, regardless of how I feel, I have not so far reported on the king and his activities and given my opinion without backing it up with facts. I do that with Harry and Meghan sometimes. Telling you, I heard some gossip, but I'm a little old fashioned and have too much respect for the monarchy, and therefore, when I talk about any other senior member of the royal family, I treat it slightly differently, a little more formal, a little more respectful, regardless of the topics surrounding that member of the royal family. I know there are things some people just do not want to know about, and they will blame the bearer of the news. And I think today will be one of those days and it will happen again. But I can't just skip certain news items just because it does not suit a portion of my audience to hear it. If I start doing that, then I'll end up with nothing to say and no videos. I don't know how many of you have heard of the Fairbridge Farm School scheme, which was the largest of its kind to export working class children to its former colonies from the early 1900s right up to 1980 in a bid, and I quote, to convert a burden and a menace to society into assets for the empire. I know I felt physically ill when I read that, but it got worse when I continued reading. Subsequent child sexual abuse investigations in both the United Kingdom and Australia found the British government and the Fairbridge Society were aware of the abuse at farm schools from as far back as 1930. In 2018, Gordon Brown condemned the child migrant scheme as government-induced trafficking, which was a bigger sex scandal than the crimes of Jimmy Savile. End of quote. In light of these findings against Fairbridge, the Prince's Trust became liable for the Fairbridge Society when it absorbed the charity in 2012. The Prince's Trust pledged to pay compensation to the survivors of the farm schools in 2018. It established a company called Fairbridge Restored and immediately put it into receivership, giving administrators Chris Laverty and Alison Wardell of Grant Thornton United Kingdom LLP the task of paying the compensation. In November 2022, the High Court of Justice determined that £204,000 was a reasonable amount for each claimant. There were 277 claimants at the time, thus an amount of 56,508,000 was needed. However, in May, the 277 claimants received letters from Fairbridge Restored. Now remember, Fairbridge Restored was actually absorbed by the Prince's Trust, but very quickly, Prince Charles, as he was then, registered and set up Fairbridge Restored. Okay? So it was set up by the Prince's Trust with the Prince's permission and knowledge. Okay, so in the letter that was sent out to the survivors in May this year, the claimants are informed that Fairbridge Restored has not received enough money to pay the claims in full. The administrators informed the claimants that the amount they will be paid will be a very small portion of each claim. They were informed that the dividend paid on each claim will be about 1%. So, if yours was one of the higher claims, namely one of 204,000, you will only get, and now listen to this, 2,400 Australian dollars. Okay, remember the court order was in pounds, 204,000 pounds, down to approximately 100,000 pounds. Okay, so now they've informed them they will only get 1% of that. So if your claim was one of the higher ones of £204,000, you will only get 2,400, and get this, Australian dollars, or then 1,255 British pounds. My friends and subscribers, that is disgusting. Yes, I know the Prince's Trust is not funded by the Prince himself. Instead, as we all know by now, it is funded by rich Arabs who need favors or citizenship and the like. But at the end of the day, the king set up and registered that trust. He is responsible. It is his name and image that it carries out into the world, even though he is now no longer prince, but king. And this king, the person responsible still for the prince's trust, is, at the latest count, worth in the region of 2 to 3 billion pounds, and still receives 24 million pounds from the Duchy of Lancaster annually, plus 80 something million pounds from the sovereign grant. And you want to tell me he can't take 56 million out of his back pocket and pay these people what is owed to them? Oh, but you see, he was clever. Although the Prince's Trust absorbed the Fairbridge charity, he made sure that a couple of months down the line they registered it as a separate charity. So if it goes bust and can't pay, then it does nothing to affect the millions in the trust. I'll say it again. Disgusting, horrible, sick. He is 100% capable of taking 56 million out of his piggy bank without even involving the Prince's Trust. But of course, no one would expect that. Never mind. regardless of what we do expect, he will not do it. David Hill, a former child migrant who was sent to Moolong School in New South Wales as a 5-year-old in 1959, called the Prince's Trust's conduct offensive, hurtful, and depressing. In a letter to the King, Mr. Hill called it insulting. Mr. Hill is also not the only one. A number of these survivors said the compensation now offered by the Prince's Trust is an insult, and that after payment of compensation had previously been delayed by the Prince's Trust for 2 years, they have now basically had enough. It is beyond appalling. People are actually dying, and maybe that's the idea, because the more of these people die before they can get paid, the less they have to pay out. Anyway, and of course, at the time, the Prince's Trust said they will expedite this because they understand the whole issue. However, they've done the exact opposite. The Prince's Trust established Fairbridge Restore, gave it some money, and then put it into administration, thus knowing full well the money they gave was not enough, or there wasn't enough money to fulfill all these promises. And then they, the Prince's Trust, their management, and the King, washed its hands off it and walked away. It is sad and disgusting, and even more sad and disgusting, that mainstream media apparently refuses to touch this subject. Guys, make of this what you will. Just don't shoot the messenger. Okay, tomorrow I'm going walkabout. If I'm back soon enough, I'll make a short video. Otherwise, I'll see you on Friday. So until we meet again on the next one, please take good care of yourselves. Bye.